You're listening to episode 32 of the Small and Supercharged podcast with Ria Freeman.
Well, hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Small and Supercharged podcast. It is a solo show with me, obviously. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about trade stands, because with badminton, when you listen to this, if you listen to it at the time it's published, badminton is a week away, which is a show I'm really excited about. I've got a few clients that are exhibiting there, so I've been involved in their plans a little bit in terms of how to promote the fact that they're there. But whether it's badminton or whether it's a much smaller, more local show, you still need to tell your people that you're there, and you can make loads of content to do that. And there's loads of different ways that you can promote the fact you're there and that you can drive people to your stand. So I thought, with badminton a week away, what better time to do a podcast all about how to get people to your trade stand at events and how to tell them that you are there. So that is what we're going to talk about today. If you think, oh, I don't have a trade stand yet, don't worry, there's a little bonus tip for you at the end. And also, all the things that I'm going to talk about, you can use in different ways as well. So obviously I'm talking about promoting a physical thing, but all of the tips and tricks would apply to if you're running a sale or anything like that. Also, they say there's a bonus tip at the end for people who would like to exhibit. And I do also mention riders and sponsored riders and brand ambassadors and their part to play in all of it as well. So there's lots of things to look at. And again, with your brand ambassador hat on, if you're listening to this as an influencer, it can be really good if you go to a brand with these ideas. So you're welcome, she says. So I'm going to start at the really obvious at the top. You've got to tell people that you're there. Now, I know this sounds so obvious, but you would be amazed at the number of people that don't. And the thing is, you don't just want to tell people that you're going to an event once, you want to keep reminding them. So of course, as it gets closer to the event, you can be looking to include information about your stand in your, well, ideally in your social media schedule, let's say, to start with. We'll look at that. So it doesn't mean that every post has to be, we are at insert name of event, come and see us on stand X. You can actually weave it into what you're doing. So maybe you start to change your content. So you're putting up a lot more pictures of last year's stand, or sneak peeks of new products will be revealed on the stand. But the key is you've got to actually tell people. So you can make content however you want to do that. You could do a flat lay of the stand number. You could do last year's pictures, as I've said, sneak peeks of new products. You could actually, if you wanted to get really creative, you could do something with your product that maybe spelt out the name of where you're going, or you could, I mean, honestly, don't be limited, just go for it. You can even write in sand if you wanted to, if that was relevant for what you're doing, but you need to tell people. And of course, social media is a really big part of that. You want to be making sure that you're telling people that you're at this show all the time on your social media, and as in the run up to it, you want to make sure that that messaging is harder and harder. And also, don't stop when it's on, because most shows, well, a lot of shows last more than one day. So again, thinking of badminton, that starts properly on the Wednesday with the trot up, and I'm sure I read somewhere that you can shop on the Wednesday as well. So it's a 5-day show, and the thing is, you're setting it before then as well. So use all these things to your advantage. Don't think, oh, it started now, I'll stop telling people I'm there. No. If it lasts more than a day, you can still tell people you're there, because you want people to still know that you're there, because they might not be coming on day 1, they might be coming on day 4 or 5. And the great thing is, as well, when you're there, you can create loads of content around that too, which I will go into as well. Now, obviously you can have your normal social media posts, your normal images, but you can also look to incorporate other elements. So maybe you want to do a Facebook or an Instagram live talking about why you're really excited about the show and why people should come and see you, and what the show means to you and how long you've exhibited there, or that it's your first time, and all those kinds of things. Maybe you want to do videos, maybe you want to do lives. You can put them wherever you like, and it's a really nice way of connecting with people. You can also share with where you are with people as well at the show. You can, if you have got a live or a video element, you can really take them behind the scenes as well into your prep. So maybe you show a mound of boxes all packed up waiting to go to the show. Or maybe you have a tick list of, food you take to a show because, that's quite a fun thing to do. Or even you talk to people about what outfits to wear on different days. There are loads of different ways that you can get people excited about you being at a show, which has the added benefit of you telling them that you're also at the show. Now, in addition to social media, you can obviously do things like the good old newsletter, and I think this gets overlooked so many times. If you have managed to get people to sign up to your newsletter and they have given you their email address, they are a lot more invested in you, perhaps, than someone who liked your page on Facebook. These people have actually made a conscious decision to either purchase from you, and they've then opted in to receive additional information, or they have found you and they have decided they like you so much they have ticked a box to say that you can send them your emails when you want to. Tell these people that you're going. Even if it is the most basic email that says, "Hi, come and see us at whatever show. We're on X stand. Lovely to see you." That's all you need to do. A really cool thing as well would be to incentivize them. So maybe say that as they're a newsletter subscriber and you really value them and their loyalty, you could give them an additional discount, benefit, drink, whatever you want to do. There are other really nice ways to reward your newsletter subscribers at shows as well. I would also make sure your website mentioned that you're at a show. You can change this, so if you have a website with one of those slider or banner images, change the banner image, put something relevant. Come and see us at X, we are on stand Y. It doesn't have to be more complicated than that. If you want to have a serious saying, we're unveiling a new product, we're doing this, we're doing that, go for it, harness that. But it can be as simple as changing a rolling banner. Or it can be writing a blog about it and about how excited you are and promoting that on your front page and then pushing that on social as well. So use what you've got and tell people. Another thing, again, which is actually quite easy to do but gets overlooked, is your email signature. If you send out a lot of emails, if you're dealing with customers, why not look to incorporate the fact that you're going to an event in your email signature? Some people have an image that does this, which can look really, really good. Some people just say, "Come and see us at wherever," and that's that too. Either way, it's just another way of making sure people know you're there, because you obviously pay quite a lot of money to be at these shows, and the point is to make sales. And if people don't know you're there, they're going to stumble across you by accident, which is great. You still could do really, really well, but I like to put everything in my favour if I can, and I like to stack the odds in my favour. And one way to do this is to tell people you are going to the event. Another idea would be to, if you are a business that ships out product, to just get some little flyers made that says, "Come and see us at whatever event you're at." I've seen some brands do a little event card essentially that has a list of all the places that they're going to, and that goes out with their parcels and packages. I've seen some people put incentives inside these listings, for want of a better expression, saying, "Come and see us," and you have your card, this little card with you, and you get X off or Y off or a free this or a free that. So again, think about this. It could also be something you incorporated in your notes. If you handwrite notes to people, you could have it as a "PS, we're at X horse trials on Y date, come along and say hi." There's lots of different ways you can do it. Even if people place an order, you could have it on your website, the automated email that goes out after the order's been placed that says, "Thank you for your order." You could have a list of the events you're attending on there and say, "Come along and see us, we'd love to see you." You're not saying, "Come along, see us, give us all your money," but these people are already buying from you. They're already your customers. And I think it's really lovely to use the chance to meet people face to face when you can. And a stand is a really good place to do that if you can. The next element is, why should people come and see you? So yes, you've got a stand, but what's in it for them? Now, this doesn't always have to be a discount, but it could be that you're unveiling a new product at the event, or you've designed something and you're really excited to get people's feedback. Again, thinking back to what we said earlier about your newsletter list, this could be a really cool way to encourage people who are on your newsletter list to get their opinion on something, like a focus group almost. If you've got new products or new ideas you're trialing, you could always invite them to the stand to have a chat with you if you've got the time and capacity to do that. and show them a new idea or talk them through a new theory. That could be really cool. But beyond that, I think making sure people are aware you've got new products if you have, making sure people are aware of any exclusive deals for them if they are a new subscriber, a Facebook fan, or this or that. You do have different deals for different people if you wanted to, or at least different offer codes that people are redeeming the deal through. So you can see where your people are coming from, whether more come from Facebook or more come from Instagram or more come from your newsletter. You have the ability to do that if you've worked it in this way. You can also talk about stand discounts and exclusive show offers. A lot of people run this kind of thing, and they can be really, really effective. So it could be something like a free personalization, because usually that takes longer, but actually you've got that there ready to go. Or maybe it is a free sample jar of some kind of cleaner for the product that you've purchased. Or maybe it's a free polishing cloth, or maybe it's a free bottle of some kind of protectant if it's like a suede product or something. You could also even collaborate with other people on this. So if you're at a show and you sell a product that complements your main product, why not speak to the people who make that complementary product and see if they've got any samples they'd be happy for you to give away at the show, and then use that as a really good hook to say to people, look, even if they come to your stand and don't buy, it gets people to the stand. So maybe for the first 50, 100 people that come to the stand and ask for this or say a certain phrase, they get this free tub of whatever by whatever company. There's a lot of whatevers in this episode, isn't there? And the beauty is as well, you can also get the company who's provided the thing to talk about it too as part of the collaboration. So that could be really, really useful. Also, now that you're giving a free thing away, whether it's an incentive that goes with something or as a standalone, come along to the stand, that's all good as well. Other positive reasons for people to come to the stand can include things like trying before you buy and getting the sizing right. So with sized products, I think one of the big issues is too big a word, but one of the things with online is that you can get quite nervous about the sizing, especially if it's a personalised item and you need to make sure the sizing is right because you are having that item, whether it fits or not, when it's been personalised. It can make you feel a little bit nervous. There's some brilliant sizing guides online, but I know if you're anything like me, you still think, oh God, I can't send it back if I get it wrong. And obviously going to a stand that has the product on the stand removes this issue, because you actually get to try it on if you want to before you purchase. Which, especially if you wanted something to be personalised, is even better, because you go, yeah, that fits me. I want that size in that colour and I'd like this on it. And also it's quite useful because you know for future orders what size you are. You know, we all know with shoes that, well, I know with shoes that some fit me in the size I expect them to, and some I need to go up a size, and even some I've gone down half a size before. And it's fine if you can just send them back, but if it's a more expensive purchase, or you just want to have a look at what's available and try on the different sizes, because sometimes you go, oh yeah, that fits perfectly, and actually if you tried a slightly different size, half a size up, for example, it's a much better fit. Or maybe some clothing is a baggier fit or a tighter fit, and it's not necessarily that the size is different, but it's that the overall design is different. So you may prefer to go up or down a size because that's just how it is. Those kind of things are difficult to guess online. Of course, you can return things, and there's some really, really good companies that offer free returns. So there's no risk even. It's just a bit of a faff. And I think that a lot of people want to have their new product and enjoy it. So if you're concerned about the sizing, it's a really good opportunity to go along. And it's also a really good thing to talk about when you're promoting the event that you're at, because you can say, come along, find your perfect size, find, try on you this, that and the other, see the difference between this fit and that fit. And that can be really, really positive as well. Another thing, which is a little bit of a bribe, but I tell you, I will go anywhere there's a bribe, is you can have stuff on your stand that attracts people. Now, I think I've got to talk about Fairfax and Favour here. I don't think I've ever been to a Fairfax and Favour stand and not had something alcoholic to drink. Even at the game fair, I'm not sure they do it at badminton. No, they don't. At the game fair, they had a gin bar at the back, which was insane. So when you were there trying your boots or shoes on, you got a really, really lovely gin cocktail. I think it was 12 keys. It was beautiful. But I'm sure they've had that before. But you can quite often get, stands will have a glass of Prosecco on them when you go on the stand. Even to be honest, a bottle of water is worth its weight in gold at some of these places. I know before now I've asked for water on stands when I've been offered alcoholic drinks because, well, I'm always driving, so I'm really careful anyway. But also, I just get so dehydrated at shows that someone said to me, would you like a bottle of water or a Prosecco? And I love a Prosecco. 99% of the time I'm going for the water because otherwise I feel so ill as the day goes on. So you don't have to spend a fortune on this. It can be you've got some bottles of water you can give your customers if, obviously make sure that complies to all the rules and regulations and everything else. But you don't have to think, I need to get some really expensive champagne and give people that. Not at all. You really don't. It can be something simple as a lovely sparkling water with a little bit of cucumber in it. Oh, very classy. Or just a bottle of water. Sweets, have a cake if it's a celebration, invite people along for, you can use this. And it's a really nice way to say to people, come along, it's really fun, we'll see you there, use it. And even if, don't always expect people to buy, but the thing is, you can actually use stands, not just as an amazing place to sell, and by all means you should do, but look at it from a longer game point of view. If you have a customer who's bought with you online before and bought more than one thing with you online before, and you send them a newsletter saying, we're at this event, come along and see us, we've got some bubbly on the stand, it's going to really reinforce their bond with you and reinforce them remembering how much they love you. So even if they don't buy on the day, think about the long-term loyalty that you're really helping to build up. And just these little nice steps as well. And it is a really lovely thing to do. I love it when I go onto a stand and people offer me a free drink. And it doesn't have to be a huge drink. It doesn't have to be an expensive drink. As I've said, I'm very, very happy with water. Don't listen to this if you've got a stand and just think that's all you have to offer me. I state my case, don't panic. But it doesn't have to be expensive things you're showering people with. It can just be a nice, thank you, so lovely to see you, have a moment and have a drink. Even a blooming bowl of water for the dog can be a huge game changer, to be quite honest. If you've got a dog when you're at one of these events and the dog's getting really hot, just knowing that you've got somewhere you can go and the dog can have a drink and, hydrate itself is so valuable. And again, that costs next to nothing. It's just a bowl on the floor, but it can be such a big deal. So now at the event marketing. So we've talked about you need to tell people you're there. You need to promote why they should come and see you. Now the fun starts, I think, because at the event, I know you're really busy setting up. I know you're really busy finding your bearings, but you can use this really, really well to help further engage people and get them excited about you being at the event and them coming to see you. So maybe you do Instagram and Facebook stories showing bits of the event. You can show behind the scenes. If you're going to one of these beautiful horse trials and they've got these really impressive houses or parkland, show people. I love it. Again, I'm just going to reference Hi Ho, who if you've listened before, I work with Hi Ho. But quite regularly, Andrew, who is the king of the road, who you'll see on the stand, will walk the dogs in the morning before the show starts, and he'll do a little video walking around these amazing places, and it's just stunningly beautiful when you can sort of see the calm before the storm, and I absolutely love those videos. So get people involved with that. Show them behind the scenes. Show them the best watering holes or things they must see. Take them on a little show tour. Show them where your stand is in relation to things. So maybe if it's the big horse trials, the scoreboard. How far away are you from the scoreboard? Or maybe you're closer to an iconic cross-country fence that people can just hop over in your bye fence, whatever. Use the behind the scenes to allow people to get to find you, because I know I have been to events before and I have not been able to find people. And it's not because I didn't know the stand number. I knew the stand number, and I'm not saying you shouldn't promote the stand number heavily as well. You really, really should. But sometimes the layout of these events, especially the bigger ones, it's not like you even see the stand numbers, and it can get quite disorientating. But if you say, I'm by the scoreboard, or, if the scoreboard's behind you, I'm on the left, look, we'll walk it now. and you're doing an Instagram live or an Instagram story, and you're showing me exactly how your stand is, when I get there, I can visualize that in my head because I've seen it. And I've seen that opposite you, there's a stand selling, I don't know, taxidermy, elephants. Have actually seen a stand that sold taxidermy animals before. So if you're walking somewhere with someone and you can look around and go, okay, well, that's interesting. I know that stand. They're there. Oh, excellent. That's where I need to go. How useful is that? You're giving people a guided tour of how to get to you. I think that is so hugely valuable, so underused. I think it's a real game changer. You can get people to the event, but if they can't find you, you've got other issues. So you can do that on things like Instagram lives, Facebook lives, stories. You can make little videos and post them as your main post that day, that time slot. And that's a really, really good use of time. It doesn't have to be edited together. It can just be you going, hi, I'm going to show you where our stand is. I'm really excited about it. The weather's lovely. The event's this, the event's that. Look, we're walking down. Oh, yeah, there's Musto there. Walk. Oh, yeah, and this is the jewel stand. This is where they have the collection for the event. Walk. Oh, yeah, and then here we are. How useful is that? We're opposite the show jumps. We're opposite the hot tubs. We're opposite have you ever been to it's badminton it's at? And it's a horse walker company, and they've got a tiny scaled down one. I could probably find that, and I can't find my way out of most things. So little things that you think people can relate to as they're walking through the showground, use them to tell people where you are. It's so useful. You could almost take it a step further as well and start to speak to other people around you about their stands and what they're doing, with the thing that if they shared that on their feed and on their social media, you're featuring on their social media as well. And if you're a non-conflicting company, why not say that you're going to speak to whoever from wherever, and this is where they are because they're next door to you. So if you come to them, they can come to you. Use it to your advantage. People do also really, really love the behind the scenes. So show them when you open the back of your trailer and it's absolutely full of boxes. Show them you setting up the stand, getting the tablecloths out, ironing things, putting flooring down, putting displays up, keeping the troops fueled with cakes. All these things are really, really lovely content. Your show dogs that hang out on the events. It's all really lovely content, and it helps people to feel a lot more connected to you as a brand as well. I think it's really good to see the journey that people take, going from this lovely polished stand when you rock up at whatever day you go to, but all the behind the scenes stuff I find absolutely fascinating, all the fittings and the fixtures and how hard people work to achieve what they do. Let people in on that. Let them share the fun jokes that you have going on, or the crazy things that happen. When we were setting it for the Hi Ho & Co Day in February, I was given one of my jobs. I had more than just this job. I mean, I cocked this one up. So, of putting different products in different cardboard boxes to go to different huts for the workshops. And I was there with Sophie Callahan, Nat, who's Sophie's lovely friend, Sophie's mum. And the box was heavy, and Sophie went to get it. And obviously at the time, Sophie was pregnant, and she wasn't lifting heavy things on my watch. So I said, no, don't be silly. Well, I probably was a bit more harsh than that. And I went to lift at the box with Nat, at which point the bottom promptly fell out of the box. And everyone was in pieces. Sophie vlogged it, and it was really funny. There was obviously, it was going everywhere and the box had broken. So, but it was really, really funny. And moments like that let you not just see the funny things that happen, but get you better acquainted, I guess, with the people that you're going to spend time with, the people that you are supporting with your business. And I loved that kind of thing. I think that's always really, really fun. Now, when I was saying earlier about I was going to mention brand ambassadors and sponsored people, let them know you're at these events. Because if they can tell their following that you're there, or maybe even get them to do something with you on the event. So if they're a famous rider, for example, and they've got a really strong social media following, you could even have a little meet and greet on your stand. Because the benefit of that is you're actually getting people to the stand, not just to see you, but to see your sponsored or endorsed rider too. So you're getting obviously more traffic. Also, if you are a rider and you're thinking, how can I help the brands I work with? Ask them if there's anything that they need from you. Again, I know with the brands I work with, we're always incredibly grateful for this kind of help, because we can look at things from angles that we aren't necessarily covering, because there's only so many hours in a day. But also you can tell your fans and followers that actually this company that sponsors you, that you work with, have got a stand there. They've got this really cool new collection. You love this piece in it. Always be honest and authentic and genuine. But if you really want to help the brands that you work with as an ambassador or as a sponsored rider, that's so, so valuable. Just being open and honest and sharing with your fans when they're at places, when the companies that you work with, that you love and endorse and you talk about, have got a physical presence somewhere. So, so valuable. And equally, if you do go to the event, take some pictures when you're on the stand. Do a little, do some Instagram stories, do some Facebook stories. See if, obviously ask in advance, if you can interview somebody on the stand, one of the co-founders or one of the people that work there, and create some additional content from that. Often it gets a bit frantic on the stands, but if you email people in advance and ask them, they may say there's a particularly good time window, or that they can't do that this time, but they could do something in advance or something afterwards, or just to come along and do whatever you like, and they'll help you after the event's over. Again, really, really useful for you. Definitely gets you in the good books, but really, really useful for the brands as well. Because, that's why we do these things. We help the brands that we work with. So in terms of the things that you need to do what we've talked about, obviously at the event, you can make a lot of this content just because you're walking around the event and you're physically there. Before the event, you can use images from last year, which is another really good excuse as to why you should take pictures this year when you're at the event. Because even when you start to talk about it in the run up to it, you've got pictures of horses jumping or people at the beer festival or whatever. You can use these pictures to start talking about the fact that you are at the event next year. And you can also start sharing what you loved about the event last year and what you're excited about this year. So use pictures from last year. And if you don't have any this year, get some pictures. Really put the effort in and get clicking. Even if you speak to a brand ambassador who's going and explaining it to them, or pay a photographer. Honestly, these pictures can be worth their weight in gold when you're starting to storytell around the fact that you're going to be there and the really cool things that are there. And you become this hub of information for these events, and that's really useful too. Another thing you can do if you get permission from the show is to get a map of the showground and put a big old arrow on it saying we are here. Do get permission, because obviously it's their, it's their copyright on their map. But if they're happy to, that can be so useful as well from a how to find you point of view. Have that map that people can look and go, oh yeah, it's by the X ring or by the whatever. It's so, so useful. And now I have a little bonus tip. So if you go to trade stands, events with a trade stand at all, whether you go to little ones, whether you'd like to go to some, use the events you go to as a really good research exercise. Now, by this, I don't mean go to a stand, go, I like this, and then make a carbon copy of it. That's not cool. We don't like that. We don't like copycats. But you can go to these stands and look at elements that you think, oh, that's quite cool. I wonder how I could put my spin on that. So maybe people are showing a new way to display something that you think, oh, actually, I don't make that product, but I have a similar product in shape. That's quite good. Or maybe backdrop ideas, or maybe table coverings, or maybe, oh gosh, even stand layout, I want to say the props, but that's not the right word. The fittings that people use. Some I've seen are, I've seen a lot of beautiful stands. I'm really lucky that I have seen a lot of beautiful stands. But some you go on and they are beautifully made, obviously made by, a proper stand fitter. And they're things of beauty. And then you go to another stand and the budget is not the same. They haven't had a bespoke stand made. But what they've done is that they've used all their skills to their advantage, and they've created something that is absolutely mind-blowing and completely unique. And I find that so interesting and so inspiring how people do this over time. There was a beautiful picture of a stand I saw. I have to say, let's be honest, if you're going to Badminton, go to the Hi-Ho stand. It's out of this world. And they ran a backdrop competition a few weeks ago. So those images are part of the backdrop, which is a really cool story, which I will come to another day. The Mackenzie and George stand is always absolutely stunning. They do such a good job. And for example, the way they display the feathers on the mannequins, do not copy them. But it's insane. I always take a picture of that. I've got so many pictures on my phone of those mannequins covered in feathers because to me, they are just so visually stunning. And I have never seen anything like that displayed like that before. I mean, that's Melanie and Chris. They are very on it and they make beautiful displays. But there you go, top tip if you're at Badminton, Rural Crafts, go and have a look. But they're at quite a few different shows and they have these mannequins with these feathers on and they always really catch my eye. And like with Hi Ho, they've got a real mixture of different ways to display the jewellery, because actually jewellery is quite hard to display. And they have these glass and wood cabinets that are slanted glass. I love them. I want them in my house. I don't know what I do with them, but I absolutely love them. And the colours, how they're on brand. Go and put your homework in. Another one's Super Cross Country. They're also in Rural Crafts of Badminton. And again, it's a very different idea to Mackenzie and George and Hi Ho, but the stand's beautiful. And the way it all works and the backdrops and the imagery and the colours is really interesting. Another person who I don't work with, but the stand was beautiful. I saw a picture of it at, I want to say Cheltenham Races, was Finlow's. So clever, so innovative. I'm just trying to think. I've seen so many beautiful stands. The one at Your Horse Live I saw from the Golden Pace Company was gorgeous with the boxes. Loved that so much. Fairfax and Favour always have a good stand. Very on brand with like creams and navies. It just makes you feel like it's a very slick operation. It is a very slick operation there, let's be honest, but the stand is stunning. And the thing is, if you go and look at these stands and take it all in, you might just make little tweaks. Like you might think, oh, actually, I can incorporate our brand colours in this way. Or, oh, okay, I've never liked how we always have to keep X in boxes. What could I use as a case to display them in a different way? These little things aren't groundbreaking on their own, but they can really just change the game when it comes to your stand. So use it. If you haven't got a stand or you've got stands at smaller events and you want to up your game, use it as an amazing training exercise. There are so many stunning stands at places like Badminton, Burghley, all the big ones. Go and absorb it and take it in. It's such a useful exercise. So I hope that has helped you, whether you have got a stand at a big event. If you have, good luck, let me know where you are. If you have a smaller stand, but you've got aspirations to be at big events and or you want to improve your stand, get more people to make it better, I hope this podcast helped. And if you're a brand ambassador or an influencer and you want to really help the companies that you work with when they're at events and help to drive people to their stands, and then why wouldn't you? I hope this has helped as well. So I can't wait for Badminton. Obviously, if you're listening to this and you think, oh, Badminton was ages ago, there's a big event around the corner. There always is. And I love horse trial season particularly. I cut my teeth with event horses, so I really enjoy eventing a lot. So I'm going to go now. Next week we have got a really, really cool episode. It's a two-parter, but I'm not going to spoil the fun. You'll have to tune in for that then. In the meantime, do join the Smaller Supercharged group if you haven't already. We always have a meet-up at Badminton. So come along, say hi. All you do is just bring yourself. We say hi, and I think I brought my lunch one year. Sounds like something I do. I need to know where my next food and drink's coming from. I'm probably a horse, actually, aren't I? But, you know, it's really nice to put faces to names, which is another great reason to go to shows. So do join the free group. If you'd like to, just search Small and Supercharged and ask to join, fill in the questions, get joining. Thank you so much for joining me this week, and I really hope you have a good week, and we'll catch up online too. Take care.